What's up, folks? What's up, social media, Facebook world, and YouTube, if you guys are watching this live. We are actually broadcasting this as part of our coaching series in a lot of our private groups. So, I might not be speaking directly to you if you're in the private group or if you're watching this on YouTube, but the concept remains the same. If you're in those groups and you're ready to ask questions or post them in the comments, post them in there, and we'll do it from there. I want to make sure that you guys are getting as much value as possible. And so we're interlinking a lot of these trainings into different platforms so you guys can get the most out of these things. And so today, I want to bring you guys one of probably the most impactful pieces of one of our trainings. And that is part of our 5 Roads to Victory series, right? So if you guys know my story, I got into a place years ago where I was operating multiple companies. I had great cash flow. I had, the typical, that Joe's got the life type of thing. But internally, right, I was having problems. I was struggling. I felt like I was chasing constantly, right? I was looking for that next deal. I was always looking for that next closing, that next opportunity, that grass is always greener on the other side, shiny object syndrome, right? That I think a lot of us experience. And I was in this this spiral of what's next? How can I grab it? How can I chase it? And the biggest challenge for me was that I could never feel like I actually could grasp it, right? I never feel like I could put my fingers on it and actually, own that thing until I started to work on changing my mindset and reconditioning myself to understand what the opportunities are in front of me and start to create alignment with my outcomes, right? Start to create alignment with what it is that I was really trying to seek by defining what it was I was trying to seek. And inside of that, I've created through mentorship and coaching and getting involved in higher level thinking and higher level groups, I started to define what I call my 5 roads to victory, right? What are my 5 roads to victory? And that is a throwback to the terminology from the US Navy Seabees, right? Back in the day, back in World War II. First of all, I wasn't a Seabee in World War II, but back in World War II, the Seabees had what they called the 5 roads to victory, the 5 ways that they were going to physically build roads all over the world to give our troops and give our allied forces ways to win and also block off, the enemy from being able to succeed. And so what I've done is I've created the 5 roads to victory, the 5 things that I look and I see that by the way, these are universal. These are universal things. Doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. Doesn't matter if you're in North America, South America, England. It doesn't matter where you are. These things are universal. These things work for all of us. And inside of one of these roads to victory, I want to talk about today, I want to do a little bit of more of a deep dive, is what I call controlling the clock, right? Controlling the clock. And the title of this video is Controlling the Clock Like Tom Brady, because what do all professional, high-level, championship-level teams and people do inside of their atmosphere, whatever game they're playing, is they learn how to be exceptional at controlling the clock, right? Brady knows that third quarter, he's down by 14 points, right? He doesn't let it fluster him. He stays present, right? And whether you're a Brady fan or not, it's kind of irrelevant, but I think we can all agree that he's probably one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, if not the best, right? And that's hard from a guy like me who's a Philadelphia Eagles fan to admit. But the truth is he's incredible. And now he's proving it by going, what's up, Paul? He's doing it now by proving it by going to different teams, right? Being successful in other environments, right? Everyone thought, well, Belichick's keeping him successful. No, Brady is a world-class peak performance expert. He knows exactly how to accelerate and create opportunity inside of his mindset, inside of his physical capabilities, inside of what he's, capable of doing. And so one of the things he does very, very, very well, like a lot of us need to do, is control the clock, right? He knows down by 14, third quarter, I know if I run the ball, I'm going to drag the clock out. If I throw a bomb, maybe we'll score and I'll have better control, who has possession of the ball, so on and so forth, right? But controlling the clock is what makes him one of the most profound players. And so the beauty of this lesson, this, ability, is that we all have the ability to control the clock, right? We all have what I call, or, is what is deemed as the rule of 168, right? Every one of us watching this video, every one of us working on a day-to-day, every one of us who maybe was chasing before but wants to create the outcome and define what it is they're looking for, we have 168 hours each week to do that, right? That's all the time we have. And so in that time frame, we have to eat, we have to sleep, right? We have to take care of ourselves. We have to shower. We have to, you know, maybe prepare food. We have to pay bills. We have to all of these things, right? But when are we going to do high gain, high income activities, right? When are we going to commit to actually getting closer to that goal we talked about? When are we going to commit to hiring the right people that are going to help us do the how? How are we going to commit to making sure that we're plugged in during the week to create needle moving activities and actually get closer to our end game, right? Not task focused, right? Not a to-do list, not just doing things so we feel busy. So at the end of the day, you can say, man, I had a heck of a day. What'd you get done? Well, I didn't really think about it. I didn't really do much, right? That's where I was years ago. When I was chasing, I was doing for the sake of doing. I was being busy for the sake of being busy. I was creating opportunities where I thought opportunities were and trying to chop things down because I felt like the more motion I have, the more commotion I have, right? The more things were going to get done. And the reality could not be any further from the truth, right? What I've learned is that when we start to control the clock, we start to control time freedom, right? Time freedom is not having the time to do whatever you want. Time freedom is doing what you want when it's appropriate to do it, right? It is actually getting shit done, but doing it on your time, doing it when you want to, right? So whether or not that's I'm an early riser and I want to get up and I want to take advantage of the day and then I'm going to relax closer to the afternoon, or I just like to sleep in a lot, man. So I'm going to get up whenever I feel like it and I'm going to get my stuff done. But knowing when you can get it done is just as paramount as doing it, right? So what are some of the ways that we can create opportunity around that? Okay. And what we boil that down to is what we call the 4 Ds. When we do a time management audit, we start paying attention to what it is we're really doing each day. You can boil that down as a visionary, as a leader, as a entrepreneur, even if this is a side hustle and you want to create more opportunity after your 9 to 5 job, which is totally fine, right? We can still break things down into these 4 Ds. And the 4 Ds go like this. Number one is I'm going to do it, right? I'm just going to do it. Something hits my plate. I want to go ahead and I'm going to execute on it. I'm just going to knock it out, right? I have an email. I can respond to it. Someone sends me a text and it's important. I can give them the direction, right? So I'm just going to do something right away that can get done, right? And whether that's something that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if I have the time to do it, the most important thing is that I'm moving the needle, right? I'm getting it off my plate. I'm doing it, right? If it's important, right? If it's what we call a gold level activity, if it's in your zone of genius, it's one of those things you should be doing, right? You're going to do it. Number two is I'm going to delegate it, right? And delegate it does not mean there's some rules around this. Delegate doesn't just mean I'm going to find someone to pass it off to, right? Because inside of delegation, right, I have to make sure that the person I'm delegating it to, A, is accountable to get it done, B, is responsible enough to finish the work and do it in the right way. But number three or C is that they know how to do it, right? So when I delegate, I have to make sure I delegate with specific expectations, with a timeline. When's it going to get done? When's it coming back to me, right? So I don't have to worry about it, which we're going to talk about in a second. But when I delegate, I make sure that the people that I delegate to are capable of doing it. How many times have you guys delegated something to somebody, checked in 3 days later, and we're like, how are we doing? What's going on? Where's it at? And they go, oh man, I'm not really sure how to do this. Should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? And you start getting into a conversation about it. That is literally doubling your work. When you delegate to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, or you don't give them proper instructions, and then you got to circle back and do it all over again or help them do it, then you're multiplying your problems, not solidifying or creating efficiencies, right? So we want to delegate to someone that knows what they're doing. We want to give them proper expectations. We want to set the ground rules. And so delegating takes some time. And so to be a good leader and to make sure that you're doing it properly, you want to make sure that the people that you're delegating it to have specific step-by-step instructions and they know exactly what the outcome looks like. They know what the expectations are. Now I can let it go. I can get it out of my mind because I trust the person I gave it to and I know it's going to get done. So that's how we delegate. Number three is we can delay it, right? But there's some specific rules around delaying, right? So many of us put things off, right? We just say, I'll do it later. I'll get to it. I'll figure it out along the way, right? I'll get to it sometime, right? And so to delay something is very, very simple. You can delay it if you put it on your calendar. right? I'm going to delay it to a specific time. I'm going to delay this thing that I know needs to get done. It's going to take me half an hour, 45 minutes. Okay, great. Put it on your calendar or put it on your task list. See, Gmail has a great feature. How do most of our communications happen? Well, they come via email, right? So someone sends you an email and you know it's going to take you a half an hour to do the thing that's in the email and get it back to them. Well, inside of Gmail, there's a little task button. It's a little checkbox, right? It says create task. You can take an email and literally turn it into a task. Now, when I'm looking at my Gmail calendar, I have the calendar in front of me because I'm working off a calendar every given day. By the way, guys, talked about time freedom, right? If I showed you a copy of my calendar, it is blocked from 8 a.m. to today. It's blocked till 9:30 at night, right? Because I'm taking my wife out for dinner for her birthday. So, and I block everything personal. I block business, right? My calendar is my life. And so if I'm going to delay something, it has to make it onto a calendar for a future follow-up, right? It has to be done, right? Tomorrow at 10 a.m. or Friday at 1 p.m. But I know that it's off my list. And this is the most important thing. We're going to circle back to bandwidth and understanding why we do these things in a second. So that's delay number 3. And number 4 is probably one of the most important ones. And a lot of people don't think about it, right? They call it dump. The 4th D is dump. Guys, there's so many things that we put in front of priorities. There's so many things that we do because we're trying to put out fires, or we're trying to please somebody else, or we're trying to do something to make somebody happy, when the reality of it is it's not in alignment with the outcome we seek. And so putting out fires is one of those things that you can probably dump. Stop putting out fires, right? If you have an organized lifestyle and you understand that delaying things to the right time to get them done, and you can actually delegate these things off to other people, or you can just do them right quick, right? Then you don't have to put out fires. So try dumping the fire starters in your life. Try dumping the people who are constantly hitting you up and going, hey, I need your attention. I need your attention, right? Really, nobody at a high level that's playing at any game at a high level needs your attention, right? And the select few that do, when they say they want your attention, I use my partner, Brian, all the time. If Brian says to me, I have to talk to you, it's urgent, right? I am dropping what I'm doing to talk to Brian. Why? Because he's not a fire starter, right? He's not an urgency guy. He's not we have to go do this right now. Drop what you're doing. I need your attention. Call you 4 times, text you 6 times. Brian never does that. You guys all have Brians in your life. You know when they come to you, and you know when they need you. You do what you got to do to get their attention, to figure out what's wrong. But you also know who the fire starters are. You know who the secret arsonists are, who just love to start shit because they want your attention, right? And I'm not talking good, bad, or indifferent. You just have people like this in your world that have to get your attention. Folks, the more you give them your attention, the more you waste your time, the more you feed their fuel for their arsonery, or whatever the word is, right? You feed their ability to burn shit down, right? And the reality of it is, when you ignore those people, when you delay those people, when you get back to them an hour later, what happens 99% of the time? 99% of the time, that fire that they had started, that they absolutely need your attention for, 2 hours later, that thing's put out, right? They don't even need you anymore. No, don't worry about it. I solved my problem, right? I don't need your attention. And so the reality of it is, when we dump those activities and we say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to let you steal my attention. I'm not going to let you, take my time. If it's not in alignment with the outcome I seek, it's got to go away, right? So the 4th D is so important. But I want to get into today probably what we should almost call the 5th D, right? And the 5th D is why we have such problems we have in our lives, and why we're not utilizing the 4 Ds we just talked about: do, delay, delegate, and dump, right? We have to make sure that all of our actions are in alignment with that, or we end up with the just criminal 5th D, right? And there's a book that was just written, trying to think about the writer. The book is called The Who, Not the How, right? Dan Sullivan wrote it, I believe. And what Dan talks about in there is so powerful, is what he calls decision fatigue, right? And this is one of the things that I see most entrepreneurs are fighting with constantly. They're fighting with having decisions on their plate that they have to make. They're fighting with this built up list of shit that starts to clog our brain, clog our presence, and clog our mind space, because we have all these decisions that we have to make that we don't put into the 4 Ds, right? In other words, you have a decision that you could just make a decision and be done. That's a do. Or you have a decision that takes a couple minutes, delay it, put it on your calendar, right? Now I don't have to have the fatigue of worrying about the decision because I know tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I'm going to make a decision on that decision, right? I'm going to analyze and make a course correction. I'm going to fix whatever that decision is I have to make tomorrow. I don't have it weighing on my mind, right? Or in other words, I delegate the decision to someone else. Now I can trust that they're going to make the right move because I trust my team, I trust my people, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. No longer is it fatigue. Or I dump the decision. It's not a decision I have to make. You don't need me. You don't need my input on this. Figure it out on your own. Go solve the problem, right? I start to eliminate the fatigue. But folks, the problem is when we have that fatigue of continuing decisions stacking up on top of each other. Excuse me. We have a bunch of voicemails, a bunch of texts, a ton of emails that need to be checked or replied to. These are all micro decisions that start to create plaque within our subconscious. They start to jam up the thoughts of our mind. Oh, I got to get back to that guy. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to text him back. Oh, I got to make that call. These micro decisions are slowing down your progress and your effectiveness. They're keeping you and they're exhausting you, right, from actually making forward progress, actually making forward motion, right? And so what happens is, this is like, picture your decisions are like a 5-pound bucket, right? I give you a 5-pound bucket. I take one of those Home Depot buckets and I put 3 inches of water in it, right? It weighs 5 pounds and you're holding it, right? How long can you hold that bucket for? Well, for the first 10, 15 minutes, it's not going to feel like anything, right? It's just a 5-pound bucket. I can hold on to this thing. But then hours go by, then days go by, and weeks go by. How long could you hold that 5-pound bucket before it feels like it weighs 500 pounds? How long are the muscles in your arm and the tension and the tendons and all that effort you're putting into holding that 5-pound bucket? When does it become too heavy to grip anymore? When does it become too difficult to hold on to because it's starting to weigh you down? Instead of feeling powerful to make your decisions and actually take action and use the 4 Ds, now all of a sudden you're getting drugged down by a 5-pound bucket, right? How long can you hold on to that thing for? And so this is where decision fatigue sets in. As productive performers, as people, peak performers who want to go out and execute and get the next one and get the next one. But I have decisions weighing on me, keeping me from my outcomes, right? Decisions weighing on me and a to-do list weighing on me, keeping me from doing the real shit that I need to do, right? For those of you that carry a to-do list, and by the way, task list, to-do list, I don't mind it. I don't think you shouldn't have it. But here's what happens with a to-do list. You have 20 things on there. You do 10 or 15 of them in a day, and you go, whew, man, what a busy day. I just accomplished so much, right? But what happens to the 6 or 8 things that are left on that list? Well, most likely, they were the most difficult. They were the most uncomfortable. They were the most impactful. They were the biggest things that need to get done in order to move the needle to the right to really help you create traction, right? We avoid doing the tough shit on our to-do list because it's tough. We avoid doing the difficult things, making the tough phone call, right? Getting that thing off of my to-do list and actually producing. We avoid it by filling our list up with junk, right? With just garbage, right? I just fill my to-do list up with things so that I can feel accomplished. I had a busy day. Guys, busy might be one of the dirtiest words in business, right? Whenever you're busy, whenever I see people who are busy, I'm just knocking stuff out, it scares the shit out of me, right? Because I know that they're focused on being busy and not focused on being productive, right? I know that they're focusing on the tasks at hand, right? The things that I can do to make myself feel better instead of the big needle movers, right? The outcome-driven activities, the things that are actually in alignment with your goals. How do I know this? Because I was there. Years ago, when I was in that role where I had multiple businesses and I was a one-man show and I had very little people on my team and I was chasing, I'd call my wife and say, I can't make it home for dinner. I'm busy, right? I tell my kids, I can't make it to your soccer game. I'm busy. I tell my family, I can't do the barbecue on Sunday. I'm busy. And they would actually embolden me. They would actually say, Joe, we know you're busy. You're an important man. Keep doing what you're doing. We're looking up to you. It's amazing what you're accomplishing. and it would feel good, right? But in the background, in my back of my head, I'd be thinking, man, it sucks. I'm not taking care of my body. I'm not eating right. I'm not doing the high gain activities that are going to move the needle for me. I'm not focused ever. I'm not present ever. I'm not truly engaged in what I want to create, hardly ever, because I'm chasing tasks, chasing things that keep me busy, and chasing whatever the other grass is greener thing on the other side. Instead of doing what we talk about is the 30,000-foot view, slowing down in order to speed up. What's really important? Paying attention to the real people that are going to help me grow this thing. Paying attention to being an amazing leader. Focusing on reading, focusing on podcasts, right? Hiring coaches and trainers and mentors and spending time with them. Getting my mindset straight, right? Creating the real impact. See, here's what clear minds do. Clear minds, when they don't have that decision fatigue, clear minds, when they don't have their focus and their present being crushed by so many things, right? Clear minds seek opportunities, right? Clear minds seek mentorship and coaching and environments. They seek environments where their tribe is going to help them level up. Clear minds, when they slow down to speed up, start to think about, where can I go to grow, right? Where do I need to go to get a little bit uncomfortable because I know that it's going to help me become an extraordinary person, right? I know it's going to help me become the leader and the father and the husband and the cousin and the brother and the sister that I want to become. Clear minds focus on those opportunities. Clear minds create what we call transference, right? You guys ever get that feeling where you feel like you're invincible, you're living and breathing, and your zone of genius is just unlocking, you're in it, you feel amazing, you can just crush deals, or you can crush conversations, or you can own the room that you're in? You ever feel that feeling? That feeling is transference. And transference, guys, is the ability to be clear and confident because you know the outcome, right? You know going into the meeting, you're going to rock it. You know going into the conversation, you're going to own it. You know talking to that client, you're going to sell them. You know that your value far outweighs what you get paid, right? You know everything you touch is going to get better as a result of you being part of it. That's transference, folks. And you start to live in that ability. You start to live in that transference when we get clear about our outcomes, when we stay focused on what's in front of us, when we stay present-minded, and our subconscious is talking to us in a positive way, right? We call that our inner and outer voice. See, we get caught off guard sometimes, or we get pulled aside, or we start to go in one direction, and then what happens? You start to hear that voice inside your head. Maybe this isn't right for you. Maybe you're not educated enough for this. Maybe you're not confident enough to pull this thing off. You know what? Maybe you don't look good for live video, right? We all have that inner voice that's talking shit to us all day long. But I want to share with you a secret right now that maybe you've never thought about, or maybe you haven't taken the time to reflect on. And that is this: the inner voice is you. That person talking you out of things is you. A person telling you you're not good enough is you. The person making all those excuses for you is you. How many times have you actually thought about that, right? When that voice is spewing all kinds of negativity and bullshit that you don't want to hear, you ever thought about the fact that you get to control that voice? You get to be that voice. So imagine that voice empowering you to do uncomfortable shit. Imagine that voice empowering you to take action and go hire a coach, join a mastermind, find some great people to hang around with that are going to help you level up. Imagine what happens when you get into those environments, controlling that voice, and then you start to feed that voice next level shit. You start to feed that voice the outcomes you seek. You start to feed that voice you're good enough to do it. You start to feed that voice that you're going to be a better father. You're going to leave a legacy for your people around you. You're going to start creating real impact because you fed the voice. See, folks, when that voice starts telling you the things that you want to hear, and that voice starts telling you you're good enough, that voice starts telling you you can create real impact, and that voice starts telling you that your dreams are big, but you're going to be able to go get them. The actions that come from that are the result of doing these things that we just talked about. Controlling the clock, controlling the voice, controlling the outcome, creating that true transference. And so that's what I want to share with you guys today. Controlling the clock. Controlling the clock is where it starts. One of 5 steps of where it starts, but one of the big ones, right? When I start to control my time and I start to use the 4 Ds, now all of a sudden I can start to control all the things around me, control my mindset, control my outcome, control my teams, control, the people I want to be surrounded by. And that inevitably it unlocks the 5 freedoms, right? We all chase the financial freedom. We know about that one. Everyone's chasing that, chasing the dollar. But here's the truth. When you stop focusing on chasing the dollar and you start focusing on becoming a better human being and a better leader and a better person for society, and you have better thoughts going on inside your head, the money comes. It's easy. You stop focusing on the money, start getting the money. See, so many of us are focused on the lack thereof. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have the ability. I don't have the body I need to go do the exercises. I don't have the things. We're focusing on lack all day long. But the flip side is so true. We start focusing on abundance. We start focusing on opportunity. We start saying to ourselves that people are everywhere. Almost 8 billion people on this earth. You can't tell me your people aren't out there. You can't tell me your tribe isn't mounting, waiting for you to come lead them. You can't tell me there's not a shit ton of opportunity sitting in front of each and every one of us, everyone on this call, everyone listening, everyone in my tribe, that we can go out there, we can create real success. It all starts with you, and it all starts with one of these components, which is controlling the clock. So keep it brief today. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys took notes. If you haven't yet, please mash the subscribe button. I don't care what platform you're watching this on. There's a subscribe button somewhere. It's over here. It's over there. It's down here. It's over there. Find the subscribe button. So when I go live, and we're doing this live from the studio and bringing you this impactful actions, you guys can just press the button and see it, right? You can immediately get connected. And we'll continue to grow this tribe, and we'll continue to grow you guys and myself as I'm going through this journey with you. Right? That's the whole reason we're doing it. So hope you guys found value in this. 2 things: subscribe. The other one is sharing. Sharing is caring, folks. If you think this is amazing, if you think it's going to help you, if you think it's going to help others in your tribe, maybe you just think it's going to help create the opportunity to meet the people that you know you need to meet. Share it. Put it out there. Start to surround yourself with the right people and the right mindsets. Hope you guys have a kick-ass day. I appreciate you watching.